What is going on, Gridiron fans? This is my Jets off-season rebuild. Okay? Now, I did a mock draft asking, and when I was doing it, I asked everybody, do you think Robert Saleh can turn this team around in one off-season? My answer was yes. The draft capital that they have, the cap space that they have, I absolutely think it could be done. If they nail this draft and get key players re-signed in this offseason, they can nail this offseason and go into next season a legitimate contender. I truly feel that. Maybe not a contender for the Super Bowl, but a playoff contender. Okay? Depending on what they do at quarterback, depending on what they do in the draft, depending on who they pick up in free agency. So, let's go through that now. This is my Jets rebuild. Free agency and the draft. Okay, so the Jets have $67.5 million in cap space. Team needs are cornerback, wide receiver, edge, and interior offensive line. So here are some players that they could target. Their wide receiving core is not that great, okay? So they need to land one of these guys. They need to land Kenny Galladay, Juju Smith-Schuster, or Allen Robinson. These three guys, or even two of these three guys, or one of these guys plus a player in the draft, or two at wide receiver. This is a good wide receiving draft. It's pretty deep. So if they go out and they get, somebody in the draft, that'd be great as well. Alright, so now defensively, they could use a corner. And Richard Sherman came out and said that the Jets just got a great head coach when they signed Robert Saleh. So obviously, Richard Sherman highly respects Robert Saleh. So, with him being a free agent, I can't see why he wouldn't go there. I mean, there are some other places Gus Bradley, he's also got ties to Gus Bradley. That's how he started his system. He started in his system. So Richard Sherman has some options. Raiders, Jets are definitely on that board as potential signings. All right. So with that being said, also Jason Verrett is also coming from the 49ers, playing with that Robert Saleh defense. So, he may come over. I know he's a veteran. Both guys are veterans. They're both, in the later years of their career. But they both have something to bring to the table. Plus being familiar with Robert Saleh, they respect the guy. They could come over there. All right. So, also, they could target William Jackson, a younger guy, not as old as Verrett and Sherman. Actually, Verrett's not that old. I think he's like 29 or 30. But Jackson's like 27. So there's a difference there. But anyway, they could even bring a guy in like William Jackson. Also, if Shaq Barrett happens to leave Tampa Bay, they could bring him in, and get an edge presence to go with Williams on that D-line. And now they could have, Quinnen Williams and Shaq Barrett. They could have a pretty good thing going there. They pick up an edge rusher, a linebacker in the draft, maybe a safety. Now they're kind of rolling here. Now they just got to fix that offense. The defense on this team is not terrible, okay? It's subpar, but it's not terrible. The offense is what's terrible. All right. So since the offense is what's terrible, you trade Sam Darnold. You move on, and you stay at number 2, and you take Zach Wilson. That's my opinion. That's what I think. They should just take Zach Wilson at number 2. They're already there. There's a good quality quarterback there. Just take him and do yourself, a favor. Okay? So now later on in the draft, if they could pick up somebody like Gregory Rousseau, pair him with maybe Shaq Barrett. If they can't get Shaq Barrett, which Shaq Barrett may not even leave Tampa Bay, Gregory Rousseau would be a good option at 23. Or a wide receiver, whatever they want to do. But I address their needs in this draft. Alright, Gregory Rousseau, 6'5", 260, out of Miami. Sat out this year, but, tons of upside. So now with their 34th pick, that's their number 2 overall pick in the second round, they can take Travis Etienne. Alright? This offense needs some weapons, okay? Get Zach Wilson, bring in Travis Etienne. Help him out. Get him a good, solid running back who's got tons of experience. So now you start addressing the wide receiver room, okay? You bring in a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe wide receiver is a higher priority if you're not able to grab one of those 3 wide receivers I mentioned. Either Juju, Kenny Galladay, or Allen Robinson. If you're not able to grab one of them, maybe with that 34th overall pick, you take a wide receiver. Because there might be some fringe first-round guys just sitting there still. But at 66, we'll start addressing wide receiver. This is a deep wide receiving class anyway. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6'1", 195. Solid wide receiver. Good in space. Separator. Alright. So now if a guy like Jabril Cox is still sitting there in the 3rd round, which he might, but he is climbing boards. Most likely nowadays you're going to get him in the 2nd round. But in the mock draft that I did, he was still sitting there at pick 86, so I took him. Alright, 6'3", 233. He's a transfer from North Dakota State. North Dakota State said, we're sitting out this year, we're not playing. So he transferred to LSU. He said, I got to play somewhere. I want to go to the NFL. So he did. He went to LSU. Had a great season. Alright, so now bouncing back on wide receiver. Sage Surratt, 6'2", 215. His brother went to North Carolina, and his brother's name is Chaz Surratt, who started out as a quarterback but moved to linebacker. Well, Sage stayed, he went to Wake Forest and was a wide receiver. 6'2", 215 is a solid wide receiver. Now we're starting to fill out this wide receiver room. I still think they need to grab somebody in free agency, though, as well as these 2 guys. Even if the Raiders don't re-sign Nelson Aguilar, maybe they pick up Nelson Aguilar. Maybe they even pick up, like one of those second-tier guys. Those 3 guys that I mentioned were first-tier guys. If they can't get them, maybe they grab a second-tier guy. And then maybe wide receiver is a higher priority, like first-round priority, after Zach Wilson for them on draft day. Okay, so now they have Quinton Williams at D-tackle, but if they could bring in Jalen Twyman, 6'2", 290. This guy is a good rusher from the defensive tackle spot. Okay? He gets to the quarterback. He's a good penetrator. He's also a good pass rusher. So just having a guy disruptive in the middle. Plus, we know Robert Saleh, with the defensive line that they've had at San Francisco for the last couple of years, he's gotten used to having good penetrating defensive linemen. So picking up Jalen Twyman at pick 147 would be a good move. Okay, so now they need to address some of the corner spot, some of the corner depth. You know, Verrett and Sherman would be Band-Aids. So you need to get depth. You need to get guys behind them that they can learn from. So Shakura Brown out of Michigan State, 6', 180, at pick 155. This guy's dynamic. I think he would fit this system pretty well. He plays press man corner. You know, he's good, solid. He's gone to the Big Ten, so Big Ten has some good wide receivers in it. All right, so bouncing back with wide receiver. Now, if the Jets are not able to grab any top tier wide receivers in free agency, then they're going to need to triple down. And this is a good late round pick. Tevin Grimes, 6'4", 217. Now, this is a big dude, okay? So they got a guy that was 6'1", they got a guy 6'2", got a guy 6'4". So now they have big NFL type caliber size guys to play in their system, okay? So now they go out and they grab another corner at for depth, and they grab Cameron Bynum, 6', 198, out of California. Now this is their 254th pick. It's their 7th pick. It's their final pick. But I think if they get corner in the draft and wide receiver in the draft, those are their biggest needs. And if they can grab Sherman and 2 young guys for him to learn, you know, for them to learn from him, you know, what Robert Saleh is all about, and, you know, how to work and how to grind, you know, Sherman's the perfect guy to show young guys how to be. Okay, so what did you think? Did you enjoy this? I liked it. I liked doing this. I got to do a 7-round mock draft. It's a 7-round Jets mock draft with the free agency included. You know, what they could do this offseason to fix this team immediately and rebuild it and be, you know, at least a 6-10 team or better starting next year. I think they could be better if they nail this draft and nail the free agency. Regardless of the quarterback position, whether they take Zach Wilson or they stick with Sam Darnold, they just need to get the guys some damn weapons. Whomever the quarterback is needs weapons. Running back, offensive line, tight end, wide receiver. They just got to get the guys some playmakers around him. You know, Pat Mahomes proved you could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You know, but if you can't stay upright, you can't throw the ball. So you need an offensive line. Guys like Carson Wentz have proved if you don't have playmakers, you can't make plays. So either way, they need to go out and they need to get the guys some weapons, make something happen, you know, as well as grabbing some depth pieces, maybe even a starter piece or 2 in free agency and this draft for that defense. I think that defense already has a good base. Quinnen Williams, you know, if they can keep Marcus May, they have C.J. Mosley coming back. They have a good base already there. They just need to build around that. Alright, so what did you think? If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have some comments, if you think there was a better pick I could have made, or if you didn't like, you know, a certain pick I made, let me know. But also, do you think, leave it in the comments, do you think the Jets can fix this team in one off season, or at least fix it enough so they can build on it in the future starting this year? Year 1, Robert Saleh era. Alright, put it in the comments. If you haven't been here before and you're seeing this content for the first time, please click that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Like this video so it can get more traction. I'd like to get my content out. Please help me out. I am the Gridiron Guy, and I am out.